Welcome back to Patina Garage. If this is your first time here, thanks for tuning in. So today, we're going to clean up this 2003 Ford AU Falcon Marlin Ute. First episode, you'd have seen I went through, had a bit of a look at the mechanical, check what was wrong with it, see what we needed to do. Not too much on that front, pretty basic really. But today we'll be washing the ugly to reveal the ugly. Bit of a strange concept, but you'll understand once we get into it. Alright, let's have a crack. And before we have that crack, just want to introduce you to Fiona. If you watch Shrek, I'm sure you can understand the terminology there for Fiona. But this is where we sort of got the name Patina Garage from, and you're going to see a lot more content like this. So stick around, like, subscribe, comment, follow along. So this is all we'll be working with. Cobwebs. Plenty of that. A lot of oxidisation. Just general dirt, dust. A couple of stickers to remove. Bit of crap in the tray to take out and get rid of before we give that all a clean up. And you'll see what I mean by removing the ugly to reveal the ugly. Looks like there's a lot of scratches and oxidisation through this paint. So I was talking about applying some lipstick. Stick around to the end. You get to see what I'm talking about. Make this beast shine again. Couldn't look any worse, let's be honest. Well, might as well start with some sticker removal. Got to apply firm down pressure. Make sure that blade curls a bit. Scrape it along. And you shouldn't end up scratching your windscreen. Window, whatever you're working on, these blades are fairly flexible, so they are designed for this essentially. Pretty hard to stuff it up. So, my ugly mug is going to be the face behind Patina Garage moving forward. Did want to avoid this moment, but part of my growth and the channel's growth is to get on the screen so that way you know who you're talking to or who you're watching. Kind of looking like a half-baked essay. Got my Apple AirPods in. Did notice that the audio quality was pretty average in that first video. Did a trial run earlier in the piece, and it was alright, but then as the day progressed, it just got really windy and made it very average, so I do apologise for that. Improvement's ready, and that's what this is all about. Learn, grow, see where it takes us. Yeah, I said it before, but now it's actually time to get into it. So today, also going to be looking at using is a bit of wash and wax, dirty old chamois, old sponge, don't want to wreck anything new, snow foam cannon, bit of a pre-rinse, some wheelie clean, bit of basic stuff. Might throw some degreaser in the engine bay, but yeah, nothing too crazy. Little tech tip, tie a bit of a half hitch into your cords, then they don't come unplugged. It's a bit warm, sun's shining, just want to get everything ready. Yep, that'll look. You may or may not notice, this water is dirty. It's dam water. Joys of living rural. Won't make any difference. It'll still be alright. Look at them lovely brown bubbles. Wheels and tyres. I'll do one with you. Do the rest on my own. Just so you get the gist as to what I'm doing. Wheelie clean. Just a quick job, but effective. So I haven't really shown this paint up close, but that's the clear coat. It's coming off. That's why I want to get it all gone. Tied it up. See where she lands. And as I said in the previous episode, get some lipstick applied. This is why they say don't buy a car when it's raining. You watch as that water dries up. Reveals the ugly. Well, that's the outside done. Gotta be honest, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'm kind of thinking we skip the clear coating, sand the spots that need a quick sand, get rid of the flaky paint, couple blemishes, bits and pieces, you know, stuff like this. Just tidy it up, get it ready for a bit of polish. What's your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. Should I have clear coated this in the end or just left it how it is? Alright, so the outside's looking fairly decent for now. It'll do for what I need to do, and might need a couple little touches before we actually get on to polishing it. So moving on to the interior. Pistol spot and stain, 60ml to roughly 1 litre of water, just in a little spray bottle. Got a drill brush. That'll help you agitate the carpet a bit, the seats, and make sure it does have a chance at removing any of the stains that are present. Just using a wet shop vac, or wet and dry shop vac, pretty basic. Yeah, nothing else to it. I will just do a little test spot on the carpet before I go rip, tear, bust and do the whole lot, just to make sure that there's no reaction for the carpet fabric and the pistol spot and stain cleaner. There was one other item that I purchased to do this. It's this here clear extraction tool for the wet vac side of things. Did ask around on Facebook pages, and this is the type that they recommended. In the process, did get somewhat bashed by a few people for buying it locally from a small shop in southeast Queensland. Their justifications were that the small shop is just buying it from some of the larger website chains anyway. They're just putting out up on it and, you know, sending it out to customers at a far more expensive price. But the way I see it is, it's keeping a small shop alive. You might need something very short notice from them at some point. You know, it's good to have them down the road and open. It's also possibly putting someone's kids through school and putting food on the table. So, you know, for the small amount it cost me extra, easily justifiable. Support local. At the end of the day, most stuff that you buy from any other shop is purchased from overseas anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I like to give everything a bit of a blowout with the old air tool. Get into the nooks and crannies and just loosen everything up, so that way stuff's not rattling out, you know, a couple of days later as soon as you've finished wiping it all down and vacuuming it out. So I'll do that first, and then we'll get onto the vacuum cleaner and end up wiping everything down. You see the seats, bit of staining. I think the floors will actually just clean up okay, but the seats will definitely need a bit of work. Things I've learned so far. Can't find my large security bits. Can only find the smaller ones. That's annoying. Was going to pull the seats out, so won't be able to do that this time round. That seat does not go forward or backwards, so that's also interesting. Other than that, I think we'll be right. Look close up there. Should get through that pretty quickly. Alright, so I fixed the chair, sliding forwards and backwards. Very simple fix. The steel bar here just clips into a tab. That allows it to pull across to the other side. Down in here, can't really see. Releasing both rails, so easy fix. So I couldn't work out what these were last episode. Now I've got it sorted. They're dividers. For in here in this little tail tidy, whatever you want to call it. Pretty handy, but not needed. Alright, so the whole point of that little exercise was to show you that with relatively cheap equipment, nothing too fancy, you're still able to get pretty good results. The camera doesn't actually show it as good as it is. Just a bit of sunlight reflecting and that off the fabric makes it look dirty, but it's actually quite clean. And if you're here in person, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. This carpet over here has probably come up the best. Again, you can't really tell. There is that spot in the corner there. I don't know what it is. It's all stained. Anyway, step one of the interior done. Now we're going on to the trim. Some vinyl care. This stuff from Bowden's. Realistically, can be Armor All, whatever you've got. A brush, microfiber towel. The other thing you might be able to see if you look over my left-hand shoulder, future project, bit of JDM, coming later. Well, that's pretty much the interior done. Just door jambs. Then it's complete. Probably should clean the glass too. Well, another day is upon us. A couple of days have gone by. Life, work, things like that. So a little bit behind schedule, but anyway, that's how it goes. So just going to move on to the engine bay. Been waiting for the sun to be in a position where it's not horrid without me having to move the car. To complete this, bit of degreaser, same brush that I used for the tyres, gurney, snow cannon, bucket. It's going to blow it out first with the air compressor, light water, degreaser, brush all that in, hit it with some snow foam, then pretty much give it a quick wipe and gurney it down. Let's get into it. Typically, now the gas struts are giving out on me. What's the chances? Far out. Get the bonnet holder up for a 300. Find somewhere to prop this in. That'll do. Blow it out now. Good idea not to let the degreaser sit. Can damage your paint, so just want to keep it agitated, get it off as quickly as you can, or dilute it with something else. Anyone who says you can't give it a hard spray, they're just scared. No, in all honesty, just keep it away from the electrics. It'll be fine. Just don't get too crazy. Nothing hard about that. Wonder if it'll start. We'll see. Probably should have tried to start it before we did it, just to make sure it was all right. It's been sitting here for, well, nearly 3 weeks now. It would be 3 weeks, so ultimate test. Haven't disconnected the battery either. Time will tell, and fingers crossed, we're all good. As expected, probably third time's the charm. Maybe 4. Been sitting for a fair while. Not surprised, but good result in the end. See that? Water sprayed in engine bay, still running. Be sensible, be all good. I'll let that heat up for a bit and dry off any of that moisture that doesn't need to be in there anymore. So just let that get up to temp, left it run for a while. It's probably the first time it's actually got up to temp since I've been playing around with it, so it's good to do that. Also found out aircon works, can't complain. But yeah, looking tidy, clean. That's all I want, just tidy. Nothing fancy, it's just a commuter. Well, we're officially not for sale. I don't know what it was that they used, and in my head that was going to be so much more elegant removing that. But anyway, we got there, wax and grease remover for the win. But yeah, that was really hard to get off. Looks way better now. Alright, so moving on to the headlights. Pretty simple process. Wet sandpaper, 1000, 1500 and a 2000. Bit of water. Then at the end, just got a polishing wheel. or foam pad for the drill. Bit of polish, as you can see. Fairly hazy. See how they look when we're done. .2000 grit, final one. Just want to make sure it's fairly even. As you've been going, making sure there's no spots you've missed. You can feel it with the sandpaper as you're going. Sanding disc here. I'm just using the leftover water from when I washed it. Just before, I had to rewash it because it was so dusty. It's been a few days. If this was the car that you actually cared about, you tape off all your edges and your lines to make sure you weren't actually hitting your paint at all, but you know, this, not such a concern. You can already see that that's coming up fairly well. Pretty good already without buffing and polishing, so can't complain. Look at the difference already. I know it looks hazy, but just the colour. It's taken like yellowing out of it. Just got some paint cleanser and restorer, Bowden's. Polisher had it turned. It was in the shed for quite some time, so anyway, this is an alternative. See how it works. If it doesn't work the best, I can always come back. Alright, not sure how well it's going to show up, but considering that polish, it's not even a polish, it's a paint restorer, so it's probably a light polish. It doesn't have any cutting really compound out. Look at the difference between that. So much better. They'll actually work. Perfect. Alright, I'm not going to show you the second one, but I'm happy with that. There we go. 20 minutes. If you can think back to the first video that I posted up, when I said this is like the angle that you can really tell how ugly they are, the old cockroach, AU Falcon. Yeah, you can see a big difference between those headlights from then versus now, so happy days. Move on to the side. Unfortunately, my polish that I thought I could use was cactus, so it's going to be using this paint restore. See how it goes. If it doesn't work very well, I'll get some more polish. So, although I have polished headlights before, never used a DA, never polished paint. Well, not properly anyway. So there's going to be a bit of an interesting exercise for me. Just a basic DA polisher, dual action. It's meant to reduce the risk of scratches. But anyway, we'll see how we go. And like I said before, Bowden's paint cleanse and restore. So we'll just put a bit on, see how it goes. What do they say? Just a few drops around the pad. See how it goes. You're going to see a lot of firsts on this channel, so you won't be learning alone. Definitely a learning curve for me. Might just buff that section off and see how it looks. Didn't go hard on it at all, very light, minimal pressure. But even just at that, geez, that's a hell of a difference. Yeah, wow. Massive difference. I don't know how well that's showing up on the camera, but just the roughness. You can feel it smoothed out. All right. keep doing that down the rest and see how we look at the end. So I'll say it again, that's just a paint restore. Hardly a cut. Camera doesn't really do it justice, but you can sort of see it coming back there. So good. Damn happy with that. If anyone watching actually knows what they're doing and can tell me if I'm doing anything wrong, or for a beginner it's going okay, feel free to jump in, here to learn. By jump in, down in the comments. It's also not pulling any red into the pad, so that's good, not getting into the paint. And like you can actually see the bits I haven't done. We've done very well. So there's definitely, I don't know if you can see just in that groove, that body roll there. I've got cars I definitely should have been doing this on for many years now. A little bit embarrassing that I haven't been. Kind of a bit scared actually. No, not anymore. Well, that's me for another day. It's getting too dark. Give you a quick rundown. Probably not enough light to actually see it, but look at that. Straight down that body line. Up to that one. She's glowing. Come around to the back. Ooh. Too dark around here. Alright, let's see her in the morning. Bye. Well, I wasn't really going to show any more of the polishing, but I feel like I needed to just do a quick example on this side here. So here, you can see my ugly mug right there. Fades into nothing. How's that? So good. Still can't get over it. Alright, so plans to change. Probably going to end up using this car a bit more than what I first thought, now that I'm thinking about it. Couple of things I'll show you on the bonnet. The primer, whoever's repainted it at some point, there's a whole heap of overspray and that with the primer where it's just flicked off onto the bonnet, so just going to give it a polish in the end. I'll feather the edges here with a bit of sandpaper. Probably go 600 then 1500 and 2000. I'll just do a 1500 and 2000 across the bonnet, maybe even just 2000 just to clean that all up, so get into it. sure if you can really see the difference there in this sort of light, but definitely helped. See, just like a little bit of shine to it. There's my hand there swinging around, so I'll go through, finish that up, get it washed down tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully have a look at it in the sun. Well, how good's that? From retirement row to on the road. I think she's come up pretty well. Yeah, got a few problems here and there. A couple of little bits that I'll need to tidy up. Future episodes on that. But I'm pretty happy. If you remember this view from the first episode, if you watched, if you didn't watch, please do so. Go back, have a look at how it was when we first grabbed it. Out of the car right up the back of my place here. But yeah, more to come. It'll show a few issues. It's already got a couple, but we'll work with them, get it sorted. See that transition from clear into just base. Hasn't come up too bad. All the Facebook heroes said, you're wasting your time, you couldn't do it, you can't fix it. All the clear coat's gone. Well, clear coat might be gone, but it's just still pretty shiny. Can hardly tell the colour difference from over here. If you recall from the first episode, it was always just a bit of lipstick, get it looking better, get it on the road to roadworthy. I think it's worked out quite well. It was never a let's rebuild, let's repaint, let's make it new again. Just keeping them alive, keeping them going. Cars of this age, they're at that point where they're almost not worth anything. And this is when they go into disrepair and don't actually make it back onto the road. So it was nice to achieve this and get it going. You know, it'll live on now for a few more years, whether I still own it or whether I pass it on. It's in a condition now that anyone can drive it. It's saleable. It's presentable. That's the key, keeping them going. Well, that's a wrap for the AU Marlin. Managed to dig out an old set of plates that I had on a VS Maloo. Quite fitting. 2002 V8 supercars were all the rage back then. Future episodes on this. Future episodes on that. See how it goes. Get it on the road 3-4 months. Work out the issues. Do a bit of a repair episode, and yeah, happy days. Thanks for joining in. Like, subscribe. If you missed the first episode, roll back and have a look at that one. More to come. Thank you.